This hand's reasonable. Obviously a smidge on the slowish side. Won't pair up very well versus any deck with Mountain. It can do some things versus like the white deck. It's too strong in general to mulligan, I think. My eyes and sinuses are crushing me today, so I'm not sure how long I'll be on. Oh, cool. Mountain dot deck. The one thing this hand's exceptionally bad versus. I'm not really worried about Lantern Control. It's a terrible deck. I'd have just played Coco and crushed it. If I had access to any cards anyway. So I think this is one of my worst matches. Heard there were 50 people there. And people are all excited because a lot of people were there. But like, they don't realize that even though 50 people were there, it's still bad for the store. I'm probably willing to block, but either way I played this one first because their decks are moderately light on removal and I would rather be able to curve into glory. Almost prize money. I'll probably chump block here. If given the opportunity. Really depends on if they play something pre-combat. I was going to build their deck and stream it, but I refused to pay $15 for TKS. Three people from page 3 were in the top 8. Mostly people from the tri-state area, though. Like, not locals. I bet Brian's upset that he's going to miss Game of Thrones. Ooh. Probably am not blocking now. Depends a lot on what he plays, what I would do. I was playing rather slow, so I guess he has a lot of decisions? Question mark. Actually surprised he's playing so slow. Did you not stay to watch the top 8? Mismatched Mountains. How tacky, Mr. White One. Yeah, my sinuses are crushing me. I can actually barely see my computer screen. There's literally food next door. Okay, well, that's a magic card. If he doesn't exert, I will probably block it. Alright, well, he exerted. So I guess I'm taking 5. Kind of don't want to kill this, but I don't really have much of an option. he just goes land, land, I'll probably lose. Blossoming Defense would be a great draw. Him not having Glorybringer would also be a great draw. Rip. It's thrown the damage at my face. That can't be a good sign for me. I probably really need that Blossoming Defense that I was just talking about. Well, that's a reasonably good draw. Not sure what I need to actually win here, but this provides a good blocker, and he can't use this on this, so no matter what, I'll at least have a blocker. Might be too slow unless I draw some kind of trample thingy. A trample thingy would beat Glorybringer, though, I guess. Maybe. See, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh. He's just going to have a casual 12 points of burn in his hand? That's insane. Okay, well, looks like I'm dead. Like I said, when he had 4 mana, if he just had land 5, land 6, I couldn't win. He had land 5, land 6, couldn't win. Just needed to untap. Oh well. I think it's pretty hard to combo versus them, so I kind of like just bringing in everything. Everything that's marginally reasonable anyway. I take out all the combo pieces, even though like they're not terrible. But I really just don't have enough removal spells to play versus a deck like his. Got a feeling tonight's going to be fairly dead because Game of Thrones is on. And because Twitch has had about 1,000,000 errors, it's, I can't even check it in on my phone. Oh shit, apparently I need... Well, thank you, cell phone. I appreciate you working finally. Haven't worked most of the day. Ooh, somebody's opening a conspiracy box on stream. Hang up on you guys and go watch that. Screw you guys. Nobody wants to watch Pummeler anyway. I'll play first. This hand's fine. Obviously not super happy about it, but it's fine. Draw a untapped land, it'll get considerably better. Because there's a very good chance that I have to try to harness lightning. Oh, I didn't have to try to harness lightning. Good lord. Still gonna need to untap land though. doesn't have to be an untapped land. It could be the third sheltered thicket. If there is a third sheltered thicket. I don't know. Well, Triple C coming to play tap land, and this game is very likely over. It's going to be pretty hard to win this game from here. This little 1-2 combo is really good. Surprised this card is only worth like 50 cents in paper. I think people are sleeping on how good it is. And he'll probably have a removal spell here. It'll probably be a good removal spell. Probably like Chandra or something, but... They'll obviously try to block if given an opportunity. These little bigger red decks with these 4 cards, once they get tuned correctly, they're going to be incredibly powerful. This card is just incredibly powerful. Like, even if you don't read the eternalized portion of the card does so many things. Rip. Menace. This one plus 0 to end the turn. Okay then. I'm probably just dead? Play this one first. It lets me leave up the Blossoming Defense for the Cat Snake, and if I draw an untapped land, I can play 2 Cat Snakes. If he plays Glorybringer, we can just scoop. I don't know if there's enough cycling and or discarding in his deck for this. But maybe they are, and I just don't know any better. The card's pretty good too. It's like one of those cards that's just surprisingly good. I'm a little surprised he didn't suicide into Earthshaker. Like, there's a reasonable argument that he could have. But I'm pretty far away from being able to attack here, so... I think the Blossoming Defense is better than just having another Servant. 3 damage to my face. Not fun. So any burn spell, any Glorybringer kills me. Hazoret's going to kill me. Not immediately, but like I wouldn't be able to answer it in time. See, he has just a lot of very clearly great draws. And I'm drawing unreasonably thin. The one desert land kills me. Let's think to see if I have any kind of attack here. So I need 1 creature to block here, 1 creature to block here. Just say on a blanket that's that and that. Then 2 creatures to block one of these, and the other one's going to get through no matter what. So I guess I can attack? You can attack with like a 1 little cat. The waiting is the hardest part. But that was good for me, actually. He draws the land now, he'll get blown out. Oh, well, I'm just dead to that. There's nothing I can do to beat that. Just does 2 damage to me now. Untaps, does another 2 damage to me, and the game's over. Have absolutely no out now. That was kind of a disappointing way to lose. Thought we'd... I mean, we were definitely drawing fairly thin. Maybe make some kind of extremely poor block. I don't think it's reasonable that he can make a bad enough block to lose, because he's at 20. But, yeah, whatever. Okay. So he wins. Alright, he still wins. That deck's a pretty rough match for us. The more and more popular that deck gets, the I'm either going to have to make changes to this sideboard, or this deck's going to be unplayable, one or two. I wonder if people would like to watch Commander being streamed. This is a deck that I have that I'm most interested in right now. I'm going to assume not. I don't think people watch me for Commander. I think they want to watch me just pummel. Alright, so playing first. Hand's pretty reasonable. Again. A couple of reasonable hands in a row, which is rare for this deck. This deck generally feels like it draws kind of poorly. Have a backup 2-drop, so don't care at all if he kills our first 2-drop. Really just kind of don't want to see anything that can produce red from our opponent. Well, that can produce red, so that's bad for us. This deck just doesn't function well versus these other red decks. Basic Mountain, though, could be the Karfik Reunion type deck, which sometimes I'm fast enough to get under. We'll have to see. To see which deck it is. It's probably not going to affect my play on this turn either way. Either way, I'm probably still going to play the Brawler and not the Pummeler. Sure. He let me save an energy for some reason. I guess he wants to save an energy of his own. Grab a mountain, play the forest that he knows about, and just slam another one of these. If he was going to harness lightning that, he definitely should not have let me untapped, because if I'm playing Voltaic Brawler, it's pretty clear that I'm probably also playing Blossoming Defenses. So let's see what happens with this draw. Yes, you take a pounding, friend. So I guess this is going to get counterspelled, probably. Sure. And our hand's pretty dead now, so we're probably pretty dead now. To draw something good, maybe. somewhere over the rainbow. Well, that was at least another threatening draw. Unfortunately, Hour of Dev just kills me now. There's nothing I can really do about it. Top deck Bristling Hydra, if he plays Hour of Dev, might give me a shot. If he plays Hour of Dev, I'll save the Pummeler and I'll still be able to kill him with the Invigorating Rampage, but that's if this resolves and he doesn't use a million removal spells on it. So we're kind of hoping now that he has Hour of Dev. I'm having Hour of Dev is my best opportunity here. It's just a draw 2. Well, that's good for me. Alright, so it's Hour of Dev, so we're going to win this game. Turn this guy into a 6. 6/6. Everything takes 5. Pummeler survives. Kill him in the much funner way. Yes. So he gets to 8. I'm here for day 904. And we didn't need the Oasis. We knew we won anyway because of the Rampager, but I think it's pretty hard to combo versus their deck in general. So in general, again, I like everything. I don't like the Manglehorns. I just click and drogue them because it's easier to pull it all at once. Normally when I do the full sideboard plan, depending on whether I think he's on Thing in the Ass or whether I think he's on just the big guys, depends on whether I should have the flings or not. But because Jabberwocky got second in the Elmo CS yesterday, or sorry, second in the PPTQ yesterday, I'm just assuming Thing in the Asses are more popular than even normal, which is already a popular enough card that I'm just going to go ahead and hedge versus it with the full 4 Harness Lightnings. I wish Ginger would turn his stream back on. I didn't want to play Magic. I want to watch Ginger beat some folks. So this hand's pretty good. It's light on land, but it has our best card in the matchup. We still have the full 21 extra lands in our deck. That tune's going to get us the second land, so we're going to have a turn 2 drop no matter what. Well, the additional land there was really great. We'll take the mountain because we have 5 double red spells in our deck, so now we have access to everything. Even though in a vacuum the forests are typically stronger. I guess I'm lagging a little. Alright. Let's go ahead. Showed him the forest. Close the forest off. Can't hit F6 here because they could be playing Magma Sprays, so I have to play around Magma Spray. Oh, can't you see? Alright, goodbye, guy. He gets to bank an energy because I think my energy is more valuable than his, so I'm certainly not going to use a spell. I'm opening some graham crackers because that's what we do here on this channel. We eat graham crackers and we have fun. So we're going to play this guy, and then we're going to play the Lone Tusk Cub. It plays around Censor, and again, I think it's my best threat versus his deck. Voltaic Brawler just too easily dies to a 1 mana spell. I didn't get to watch him most today. I slept in today. So we'll play the guy that's uncounterable. If somehow he survives, it'll let me resolve the Hydra on the following turn. I wish this also gave my creatures hexproof. That's probably just asking too much. They're pretty good. It's also the reason I'm 500 pounds or 400 pounds or whatever the heck I am right now. One of the reasons you cast a Shepherd there is the hope that they'll use a removal spell on it so they can't play a draw 2. Supreme Will's not as bad as a draw 2, I don't think. Alright, so we got to kill that. Hopefully he doesn't have Essence Scatter for the Hydra. I'm going to play the Ephra Hub here because it gives me one trigger on the Hydra. So basically just hoping he doesn't have Essence Scatter. No Essence Scatter, please? No, he has Essence Scatter. Go ahead and use this Attune, grab us a Forest, play a Forest, slam this Voltaic Brawler. Well, I wish he had hexproof as opposed to uncounterable. Like I wish the card read, your other creatures can't be countered. This is hexproof. I think I would have a higher win percentage if it is. I don't think it can't be countered clause has helped me a whole lot. But then again, maybe I'm just wrong. Holding the forest because we do have all the trackers in the deck. Sorry, the mountain. Holding the land, I'll rephrase. My opponent was about to cast Hour of Dev just to stop a Shepherd from doing damage. It's definitely something he could do. Well, it's interesting. Yeah, I was right. He wanted to play the Hour of Dev last turn. Let's still just grab another forest, play the other forest. And now we're in this weird kind of top decky war, but his draws are better than mine on average, I think. Well, I'm going to play the Ephra Hub now, so I can bank one more energy. I hope this thing resolves. Even if he casts a Gearhulk here for me, it's not the worst. Alright. Well, he's hellbent, and we're basically hellbent, so. And he draws the best card in his deck, and we also draw the best card in our deck. Bristling Hydra, please? Nope. A card that would have been good for us basically any other turn of the game. Another draw too, yeah. This game's pretty close to unwinnable now. It's not 100% unwinnable, but he put on top, so that's a bad sign. The literal only cards I would have put on top are more gear hooks and more draw twos, so. Well, let's see which one he put on top. A braid? Sure. No, so it was both. Go ahead and let the gear hook resolve, and then I'll harness lightning it. Or let the glimmer resolve. I don't know why I said gear hook. It's kind of a slip of the tongue. Bottom, top. So again, bad sign. I have about 1,000,000 energy though, so we'll just go ahead and keep on smashing. Well, we got a little Voltaic Brawler. This one's probably good enough that I'll save the Blossoming Defense for, or use the Blossoming Defense to try to save it. The Servant, the reason I didn't save it with a defense is because the Servant doesn't attack through Wandering Fumaroles regardless. Doesn't trade with Wandering Fumaroles. Wandering Fumarole can block it like infinitely. At least the Brawler, he has to trade a Fumarole for it. So I acknowledge that I can't win this game, and this game's already over. The reason I'm not conceding is because I want to see a little bit more of his deck and see if he shows me Figgin Nice or not. Because if he doesn't show me Figgin Nice, I might sideboard slightly differently. So that's something actually moderately important to think about when you're playing Magic. Like, yes, we lose, but there's still information to be gained that can increase our chances on the following turn. Thank you for following Brogan5225. Your name's got Bro in it, so you're obviously cool. But where he has 5 cards in hand now, he's got 4 Fumaroles in play, he's got a Gear Hulk in play, etc, etc, etc. Obviously, I'm just not going to win this game. So we'll just see if he shows me any more sideboard cards that I have to worry about. Go ahead and use this on this thing. It's not going to do anything this game anyway. Hey, it can survive a Gear Hulk. There, opponent let us do 7 damage to him. Better watch out, opponent Aru. Because you're going to get Voltaic Brawlered forever. Nah, this game's still over. Even though that was kind of cool to hit him with that big old desert. Goodbye, team. So he's got multiple hours of devastation. Cycle us a little thicket here. Blossoming defense, as with your brother, you are right on time, friend. Friend defense, defense friend, friendly defense. Uh-oh. Shit's getting real, friends. The creatures are coming to town. It'll take about 1,000,000 damage here. He either isn't playing Thing and Ice or isn't willing to show them to me. Well, it's not going to resolve. It's not going to deal damage. And even if it somehow managed to deal damage, it wouldn't be dealing enough damage. Okay. Well, Twitch has been pretty buggy today as well. Alright, so he's coming across to kill me. Alright, so he's not going to show me another card. You got us, friend. Just still not bringing in this plan. I think he has way too much removal. On the play, I'm thinking about I'm going to cut one harness and bring back into fling just because we didn't see the thing in the ice. So obviously this game he's going to play a turn 2 thing in the ice. That's how that works. You know that, right? Yeah, so we're going to play first. And I draw double Harness Lightning even though we sided one out. Yeah, it's just been real buggy today. I'll keep this hand. I think it's good enough to keep even though this hand's obviously pretty weak. The Harness Lightnings this early in the game are almost like a mulligan anyway. The second one's kind of like a double mulligan. But I have two of my better spells in the match, so I don't think I can... it's something you'll hear me say on my stream a lot. When people mulligan to 6 and put on top, and you've kept a weakish hand, they probably have a stronger hand than you. So our opponent is very likely to just have a stronger hand than us right now, but hopefully he won't have... hopefully he won't have the removal spell it takes to kill the Longtusk Cub. If he taps out on his following turn to kill the Longtusk Cub, I'm probably just going to slam the tracker regardless of it being useful or not. Might be his only red mana. He should kill this now if he plans on killing this at all, because I'm obviously a 4 Bristling Hydra deck. Well, the fact that he was able to bank an energy there is real bad for me. But my hand's absolute trash, so just have to hope he doesn't have a second removal spell. Because this probably won't resolve on the following turn. Like if he gets to untap and have mana, there's very little likelihood that the Tireless Tracker resolves. So yeah, if we'd drawn that, we wouldn't have played how we played, but right on time, as usual, Blossoming Defense, and we have no creature to follow this up with. He still has 4 cards in hand. So, and none of those cards are lands. Yeah, we're not going to win this game. Just not going to win this game. I would use a Blossoming Defense to save this Servant. But he actually doesn't have red mana. Well, now he can play his draw twos, so he'll have whatever red mana he needs, probably. Depending on which draw two it is, obviously. This double Harness Lightning is just still not working out very well for here. I'm going to have to play the Bristling Hydra even though I don't want to. Whoops. He may not have a counterspell, but the fact that he missed a land drop means he almost assuredly has a counterspell. The fact that it was Essence Scatter is actually kind of good for me, because it means he likely doesn't have a Dissolve in like a Chandra would resolve. Well, he doesn't have a draw 2, and he doesn't have a land, so... This little servant's going to have to find a way to deal 20 damage, because we've drawn yet another basically mulligan in this spot. He never draws a single red mana this whole game, though. We got this, man. Rip. There's a red mana. No counterspell, please? That'd be great. Hey, I did it again, fam. That resolves. Wow. Well, if he untaps and plays Hour of Devastation, he doesn't have the energy now. Our opponent has drawn very awkwardly. Seems that every time I play versus one of these blue Gearhulk decks, that our game 3 is just both of us not really doing anything but walking around and flapping our little arms. Anyway, this thing survives a Hour of Devastation, so there's really no reason for me not to just go ahead and keep adding to the board, because if he plays Hour of Devastation, he would die. Well, if he doesn't have anything, he's still dead. Well, I have 8 damage on board with double blossoming defense in hand, so... Very unlikely that I'm going to lose this game. Go ahead and attack and make sure there's no kind of weird flash block thing. Alright, pump this guy up twice. Hate you. He's going to cycle Supreme Will. I guess he's looking for a removal spell for this, but again, we both still have double Harness Lightning, and actually, or still have double Blossoming Defense, and actually the the 2 Harness Lightnings alone would give me enough energy that thing would win. And he's tapped out, and we somehow stole another game by the most awkwardest of game 3s ever. Our hand was pretty miserable too. It's just probably shouldn't have won that game. Alright, check the Facebook messages. Oh, I guess I'll pop up the deck list. For anybody who cares... Oops, that's not the deck list. That's the deck list. For anybody who cares, there's a link to my Twitter down below. From that link to my Twitter, there is also a link to my YouTube. I post all of these daily videos on my YouTube, and at some point, I don't know how soon, there will be content on the YouTube that is not on the Twitch stream. Thank you for following BBUH Bowler. And checking in on Facebook to see how the fam's doing. Whoever is giving the reports, Gunner, is not updating me well. So wine. Anyway, I'm always branching out, man. Gotta make that money. Just like this song's saying, but apparently you guys can't hear my music, and I don't know how to make you guys hear my music. But we'll build a rocket ship and we'll fly it far away. See? The song, I don't know, go read the lyrics to it. But whatever, I don't know why you guys can't hear it. Anyway, I'll keep. I'm amazed you guys can't hear it too, since YouTube tells me every one of my videos can't be monetized because, like, of the music. Oh god, it's Mardu, probably. Mardu's not good for me, especially when I draw this sweet, sweet damage land. Big money, no heart of Kieran. Big money, no heart of Kieran. Rip. There was no heart of Kieran. Alright, well anyway, I'm going to play a servant first. I don't know, I've got one around here somewhere. Where are you? There it is. I have all non-basic lands, which is always fun. But anyway, I'm playing the servant first because I think blossoming defense to save the long tusk cubs is better. I mean, if it's a song I like enough, I probably will start singing, and I usually do sing on stream, so. so yes, but I did not like that song enough to sing it. No, it's Jeskai. That was not what we were expecting when we saw those two lands to start the game. But we are 3 falling. Yeah. Alright, so in this spot, I'm more interested in being able to protect my Long Tusk Cub than I am to be able to play the Bristling Hydra. And there's some percentage chance I'm going to draw an untapped land anyway to try to play the Bristling Hydra. Well, that didn't work out very well at all, but main deck Essence Scatter is not super popular, so it's not like that's something I'm going to play around a whole lot. And the Essence Scatter could have got the Hydra either way, so it didn't really solve anything in that issue. And then anyway, I'm not going to cast a Pummeler without a Blossoming Defense up. We're just going to pass here and be sad, which means he gets to play a draw 2 if he has it. Luckily for us, he didn't have it. So we're going to untap, play our Cavern of Souls, cast Hydra, and our Hydra's going to win the game. Please? No? Okay. Well, we tried. So we draw yet another Blossoming Defense. Anyway, so this might find a counterspell. I found a Censor. Well, that's kind of disappointing. I'm not sure. With as mopey as his draws he's played versus this, that he was still holding a Censor is kind of surprising to me. And now that he has 6 mana, we probably dead, fam. Alright, well, we drawed the wrong end of our deck this game, so we have to just try to resolve it. It probably does not survive. I'll be amazed it did survive. Well, he's probably got Fumigate or something then. I refuse to believe this Electrostatic Pummeler is going to deal a point of damage. But oh boy, if we get to untap with it. That's going to be some fun. Alright, well, we'll try to save it with a Blossoming Defense. Still has 2 cards in hand, like one of them's going to be a removal spell at least. But if it ain't, if it just happens to be Magma Spray, I would protect my Pummeler. I'd protect the crap out of this Pummeler. Untap land would be great here. Well. Yeah, so we're going to attack and figure out what our opponent has. You have to have something, bud. Alright, so it's a Torrential Gearhulk? Sure. Well, we can beat Torrential Gearhulk. What's he targeting? He's targeting a braid, and he's going to target this guy. Well, I guess we let him target it and see whether he does the 3 damage or destroy target artifact like he should. Alright, well, he picked target artifact, so let's go ahead and try to make this guy massive. Oh, just everything's going to resolve? Well, we didn't have to think real hard if everything was going to resolve. Alright, I was wrong. Electrostatic Pummeler did in fact deal damage. His hand had to be incredibly weak. I'm actually kind of amazed that he just couldn't untap and deal with the Pummeler. See, this is another spot. Like, I'm playing a Blossoming Defense deck. I was completely tapped out. He should have just cast a Gearhulk during his main phase and got back to a Braid and killed this. Like, people are so stuck into this. I have to do things at instant speed because it's cool manner, when just like, clearly in spots like this, it's just better to always just play it at sorcery speed. Anyway, so again, he's got 1,000,000. He's got 1,000,000 removal spells. So I just don't think I'm going to get the combo versus this guy. Let's sideboard out all of the things that we always sideboard out nearly every single match. Oop, get out here, Fling. And did I misclick anything? Nope, everything's good. Just hit submit. I really need to figure out how to let you guys hear my music, because my music rocks. At least I think it rocks. You guys will probably hate it, especially you, because you're from Canada. Or you're blaming Canada, at least. No Canadaroos allowed. Unless you're bringing syrup. It's the only thing I know about Canada. Apparently you guys are super polite and you have syrup. Yes. Yes. Countryism or something? I don't know. Alright, well, in general, I find that Long Tusk Cub is... I do wish I lived in Canada. You'd have better healthcare. In general, I feel that Long Tusk Cub is just a better threat than all of these control matches, so I'm willing to play it even into the censor. Well, no censor. Versus the white builds, it's not as much of a threat as the other builds, because, like, you can get it out of a Braid range, you can get it out of Harness Lightning range, etc., but you can never get it out of Fumigate range, you can never get it out of, you can never get it out of Stasis Snare, you know, cast out type range. And they might have Blessed Alliance, or they might have like a Mobilizing Glare, or whatever it's called. So, like, while it's my best threat versus blue-red, it's still probably my best non-Hydra threat, even versus these builds as well. So, we got a card here that I have to read. Can't activate its activated abilities. And this goes to 4. That's a triggered ability. So I can technically kill that with Oasis if I choose. I don't know how important it is to kill it. I have to think about this for a second. I don't think it's important enough not to just play Chandra when I can. Don't want to cast it. Do want to redirect. I think just resolving Chandra is better. Like, there's a good chance I get an opportunity to kill Dobin Bond on a following turn. Like, for example, he needs a cast out or something on this guy now, or I would be able to kill the Dovin Bond with just this guy. Well, that was all. Everything that just happened this turn seems pretty good for me. You know, we don't care about this Voltaic Brawler at all. Untapped land would be nice. So that's an untapped land. We'll go ahead and tick up the Chandra for mana, so we can play the tracker and try to get a trigger while holding up Blossoming Defense if it resolves. Alright, it doesn't resolve, which is fine. Still get to resolve this while holding up Blossoming Defense. And Dovin was one of Gunner's favorite cards when it was originally spoiled, and I kind of like the card myself. I don't even know if I own any. So he's at 6 mana now, so he's on that beautiful, beautiful Gear Hulk mana. Which means I'm going to attack pre-combat on this one. Or I'm going to attack pre-combat. I'm going to attack pre-Chandra activation. Because if he's going to cast Gear Hulk, I would rather try to bait him into casting it as like a blocker and maybe using the Harness Lightning, which he probably shouldn't, but like that's what I would prefer him do, so I'd rather give him the opportunity to do that, even if it's unlikely that he does do that. Because there's going to be some percentage of games that they do things like that. Well, I can't save my guy. So, okay. You can't be saved. Well, we up-tipped the old Chandru again. I'm actually going to play this land even though there's Tireless Trackers in my deck, just because it comes into play tapped most games. And he's going to Supreme Will and find a cast out, and we're going to die inside. Really wish we got to see what they got. That'd be hot. Don't you do it. No cast out. Alright, well, it's no cast out. That's also no cast out. Well, normally I wouldn't just ultimate this. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm in pretty bad shape and I don't have any other threats, so I think we're still just not going to ultimate. I don't think we have to ultimate it to win. Well, that card is exceptionally awkward because now if he has a counter spell or a removal spell, he would get to attack the Chandra. Still think it's worth playing. We'll go ahead and play this thing. We'll hold up the Blossoming Defense. We're going to turn the music back on because my hour or whatever is up. We're just not attacking right now. I'm saving a blocker for the Wandering Fumarole. Yeah, so it's a Glimmer Genius. A lot of people would have went for the ultimate right there, and it was probably safe to go for the ultimate because he very likely doesn't have Disallow in his deck. But I'm a pretty cautious player, and we had no other threat, and if he did have a Disallow, the game was probably over on the spot. Depends on what counterspell he has. He showed Essence Scatters and stuff, but yeah. And he didn't have a untapped land in play. He might not have drawn the untapped land, so. So based on what we're looking at right here, he's still just holding up disallow. I'm willing just to tick up this Chandra forever, I think. The real question is whether I play around him being able to block. At some point, I'm going to ultimate Deshandra. It's probably safe to ultimate at that turn, but it's kind of like to have one more threat before we bother with that. Alright, so he has negates. I have 6 spells in my deck and 4 of them are Harness Lightning, so him bringing in negates seems kind of loose to me. Alright, so he's going to tap very low and go after Deshandra. He's only got 1 card left in hand. But we're going to try to Harness Lightning and see if he has a second negate or whether he uses some other spell here. Could still have a disallow. Well, I find that interesting that he would actually concede in that spot when I've already showed I'm unwilling to ultimate Deshandra and that he probably plays Cast Out. So that's kind of odd. However, if I drew any other threat that I thought could win the game, like a Tracker, a Hydra, or anything, I would have Snap Ultimate Deshandra. So if he didn't have a counterspell to stop this Harness Lightning, he's not going to have a counterspell for Deshandra. So probably 100% would have ultimated Deshandra at this point. Especially with the Glorybringer in hand. But, like, he didn't know that. I'd already shown that, like, 2 turns I hadn't ultimated. So I think he should have saw whether I ultimated it before he conceded. Him not showing me a counterspell on that Harness Lightning means I would have tried to ultimate it, but he doesn't know that. So Eric's moving on to the top 4 of our local PPTQ. Chase is down, and apparently Rob is getting crushed. Dargan. Anyway, so we're playing for a pity chest. If we win 1 out of the next 2 rounds, we get a pity chest. And pity chests are always the best chest. We're versus a 3-0 opponent, though, so we're trying to ruin his day. We'll definitely play first. Yeah, well, if I ever can click yes. This hand's lit. I like to say lit. I don't even really know what it means. This hand's also not particularly lit. It's just good, but... Get the old awkward mountain. For some reason, I always feel awkward when I show like one basic and tutor for the other basic. I have no idea why that makes me feel weird. It just does. Alright, so it looks like they're playing very likely the Monument deck, which is what I consider my best match. This is the prime reason I play this deck. Lit AF. So that's a little Selfless Spirit. A little friendly Selfless Spirit. Their decks can range on a lot of their removal spells, so I'm just going to slam this guy. If I draw a Trampler, there's a very high chance I just win the game next turn. Like, actually very high chance that I just win the game next turn if I draw a Trampler. But even if I don't draw a Trampler, I'm not in bad shape. The second Lone Tusk Cub will be used to play around dusk. So I have 6 just wins now. I have 6 just wins. And he missed a land drop. Well, that is one of our just wins. But yeah, they don't really answer the Pummeler very well, game one especially. Alright, well, that was one of our just wins. Now, I've been experimenting with how I sideboard versus these guys a lot. Some of their builds have Fumigate, some of their builds have Dusk, some of their builds have Angel of Sanctums, some of their builds have combinations of them all. The build from Star City earlier, the guy who got second, was not running any Fumigates in the sideboard. And if they're not running any Fumigates whatsoever, it makes me want to stay on the Pummeler plan. Now, that doesn't mean this guy's copying his list. I'm just saying in general, like, this is the most recent list. And it makes me not feel like I need to convert. So it's really hard to figure out what to do in game 2, because this package is good versus one of their sideboarding plans, while it's bad versus the other sideboarding plan. So it's really kind of like trying to predict what they're doing. Anyway, in general, I don't like the Glorybringer. In general, I like to shave the servants here on the draw. And then we're going to try to just keep the combo plan in and see if we can win. But it's probably not going to work, and I'm probably going to have to do a bigger type of convert post board. But we'll find out. Because like, the sideboarding plan post board versus them is entirely like water vase sideboarding. It's kind of interesting. This hand's pretty good. Voltaic Brawler is actually very good in this match by itself. We have the early win if they can't interact. We now have a way to beat Monument. So in general, this hand's pretty good. If we draw an untapped land, we can just slam Brawler if we choose to. Sorry, if we draw a land that the game trail can target. I misspoke. If we don't draw a land that the game trail can target, things get a little more awkward. I don't think that that guy's good enough to kill on his own. I would rather be able to hold up the Manglehorn for Monument. And there wasn't any other way to guarantee that we had Manglehorn mana. Ooh, Sheltered Dunes. That's a sweet one. Pretty big fan of that card being added to the deck. I saw it in J. Dean's sideboard, and I was just like, man, that is something I hadn't thought of, and it's pretty good. But in fairness, I hadn't read any of these lands. So, definitely willing just to chump block if he attacks. I have no idea why that card went black for me. This is like, you can't tap it. It's not a land, friend. Well, things are getting considerably better for them. Anyway, so if they have nothing, we have a win. And if they have an answer for it, we have a second win with the Brawler, or with the Pummeler. It's not actually a win right now because they have quite a few chump blockers, but you get the general gist of what I was saying. Well, Selfless Spirit's a good draw there. So, an Effer Hub is my best draw. An untapped land is my second best draw. A Blossoming Defense doesn't really change anything. Anyway, so I'm just going to attack with the Pummeler and deal some large amount of damage here. He'll get to keep a bunch of his fangs, but his Selfless Spirit's going to die. Me down to the paradise. Don't be down. So he's just going to block it with all 6 of this toughness. But you're obviously not blocking it with the Spirit, fam. Come on. Alright, well, we'll order the blockers thusly. Let's say okay. Give O dude here +4/+0 and trample. I assume he's going to sacrifice the spirit. If he doesn't sacrifice the spirit, that's fine. Literally willing to trade this guy for 3 of his guys and let me add more to the board. I assume he's going to sacrifice the spirit. If he does sacrifice the spirit, I'm going to kill a militia in response with the harness lightning, which lets me bank 1 energy and make this guy a 20. So like his 2 things are going to survive, but he's going to go down to 4 damage. And between the Voltaic Brawlers, we can probably get the 4 damage somewhere. This guy just getting trample again would probably also give me the 4 damage at some point. Well, the fact that he didn't play anything there makes me immediately, the first card that comes to my mind is he could have Archangel Avacyn. So if he could potentially have Archangel Avacyn, I'm just going to play my Voltaic Brawler into my Voltaic Brawler. Which gives me multiple trample threats for the following turn. God, my dandruff is crushing me. Just not willing to attack and let something get 8 for 3. I would rather be able to alpha on a following turn. Alright, well he's down to 3 life, so the Voltaic Brawlers gain more immediate value. Could play Dusk here, which isn't great for me, but still any Trampler probably wins in that scenario. And that's a Trampler, so let's see what happens. Hopefully he doesn't have a counterspell. Anyway, we're going to give +2 to each of these. This card is surprisingly amazing. It's just good in general. And the art on this card is just funky though. The main reason I like this Pummeler deck, by the way, is because this blue-white deck is just so popular and it feels like just such an easy match in general. So hopefully he doesn't have Spell Queller, which it's very reasonable that he could have Spell Queller. Even if he has Spell Queller, there's a chance that I just save both my creatures. Give +2/+2 to them both. Well, he F6, so now he's un-F6'd. But we have a Blossoming Defense to play around the Stasis Snare at this point anyway. Alright, well, we have locked up a Pity Chest with more Brawler shenanigans. Let's see if we can make it a fun day. Let's see if we can get those 8 chests in the bank. No, I guess I should throw up the list again. For those who care, there's a link to my Twitter down below. On my Twitter, I post every deck list I play. I post when I go live. Also on my Twitter, there is a link to my YouTube. On my YouTube, I post all of the Twitch streams. Unedited, of course, because, to be honest, I play so bad I'd have to edit so much that it wouldn't be fun for anybody. But on top of all of that, at some point there's going to be content on that YouTube, and when I say some point, I don't mean anytime soon, because I am the laziest man you guys will ever meet. If you can imagine Jabba the Hutt, I am the human form of him. I'm just this big lazy blob that sits here and eats graham crackers. But that's fine. I'm a nice guy. I'm not from Canada, so that's great. Gabadol? Yeah, I don't know what that was. I have a whole 13 people watching me. Don't you guys know Game of Thrones is on? Or well, I guess it just ended, didn't it? I don't know. But we'll play. Hopefully we'll lock up the 04 one. Man, I don't know. He looks like he's pretty lazy. But yeah, I'm calling out the Jabba and all of his people. Nice pairing our algorithm moto. The old 3-1 into the 0-1. This hand's not good, but I'm going to keep it. Having a turn 2 servant isn't a non-zero factor, and he's playing a Port Town deck. If he plays as Fraben Inspector, we probably smile. He could have been born into it. You don't know. Maybe he had a good inheritance. If they don't play a second land, I like our chances. They played a second land. Their chances immediately go down. We're going to play the Effer Hub this turn. Even though it's for very little value, like there's some chance that some of these builds have ran like a one-of Heretic Kafar. So getting the non-basic land there that I want into play tapped. I know this is also a non-basic land, but getting the third energy was the big kicker on that. Well, we're going to pummel. Hopefully he doesn't have a lot of good stuff. Can't really attack there because he can just double block with the Fraben, and I think my servant's better than trading for one Fraben. Well, that's good for me. If he doesn't have an untapped land or a Selfless Spirit, then we get to do a lot of really cool things with the Pummeler. He could have either of those things still. Who knows? But, like, yeah. I guess the best draw for me right now is him not having a second land. I guess Selfless Spirit would be fine. We have a lot of outs to beat a Selfless Spirit. He can cast Metallic Rebuke. Alright, that is one of those things. So we're going to have to attack for like 1,000,000 this turn. So Blossoming Defense, I believe, is a win. I believe any of our pump spells is a win here. So yeah, that's clearly a win. That's a no math win. We don't even have to think about the math when you draw that card. When you draw your second +4. So yeah, like we do 1,000,000 damage now. Let's go ahead and do it so that he doesn't have to think about it. This gives him the opportunity to scoop and not go for all the blocks or whatever. Because like he can only stop 11, and that alone kills him even without the servant. Alright, well apparently he wants to go through this all anyway. Trample is very, very good versus their deck. For those who care. It's just very good. I'm gonna pummel you today. Okay, anyway, move on to the next game. Don't know whether he's playing Fumigates, don't know what he's playing, etc, etc. Gonna bring in the old Mangly Hornies because we always bring in the Mangly Hornies. Gonna sideboard out the Glory Bringer because it's very bad versus Avacyn, and he's got enough chump blocking flyers that it's probably not going to get a bunch of value. I would be more apt to play it on the play than the draw. In general, I also want the Harness Lightnings because I think being able to keep him off Hanaware early is pretty good. Being able to like stop an Avacyn from flipping is pretty good. Being able to kill an Angel of Sanctums and get my stuff back is pretty good. I don't like the Servants on the draw, and I'm going to cut one land this time. I've been experimenting. You may notice that I just played versus the exact same match, and I'm sideboarding differently this match. It's because I don't. Well, A, their sideboarding plans are different, but B, I'm still experimenting a little with my sideboarding plan. So like I'm not 100% happy, so I'm trying a few tweaks here and there just to see what I like in general. Hello, one-eyed, two-eyed. This hand would be great if the fact that if we had even one land, but we clearly have to mulligan it. This hand's very bad, so we've saw one Effort Hub and 13 cards. This hand is also very bad, but I can't go to 4. So there's very little chance to win this game with this draw. Just Bristling Hydra does not do a lot versus their deck. And on top of that, I don't even have the 4 land to play the Bristling Hydra yet. If we see that he's playing Fumigate or anything, which again we're not even likely to see because of our hand, but if we did see that he was playing Fumigate, we'd bring in the full sideboard swap. But yeah, that first 7 was almost good enough to keep without even a land in the hand. Almost. Thank you for following, Spleen Cheek. I appreciate it. Oh, we have to hit something. Well, that's pretty much the last card in the deck that I would want to have drawn in this spot. He didn't play any 1-drops or 2-drops either, which makes me think that like maybe he just has a bunch of reactive things. Well, we got a spell that doesn't do a lot. I know I sideboarded out a land, but I sideboarded out a mountain, and neither the first hand nor the second hand would have been a keepable with just a mountain anyway, so that didn't really change a whole lot. Obviously, in this game, we'd be happy to have a mountain. We'd be happy to have anything that they would let me resolve. Oh, well, that was a good turn. Another Bristling Hydra. No reason to want playable spells. This song is great. You guys are missing out. So yeah, this game's over. I have no out. Hopefully he'll show us some kind of sideboard card to help our sideboarding for the following game. The land comes back in on the play. The Servants may come in on the play. I'm thinking about doing the full swap. Oh, well, this game's going to end very quickly. Alright, well, as we have no spell we can resolve meaningfully, we'll go ahead and scoop and move on to the next game. The land's instantly coming back in on this game, and then probably, well, that's not the land. Get back over there. Probably going to cut a Bristling Hydra on the draw, and I'm thinking about shaving both of the Flings to bring back in the Servants. Sorry, on the play. I misspoke. The Blooming Defense versus the Bristling Hydra is a little confusing to me. I don't know which one I want. I think I'm going to try the Hydra since I brought the servants back in, but I don't even know that the servants really should be in the deck, so. Just experimenting and trying more things. This hand is questionable. I think we're going to try it. These are cyclable. Cyclable? Is that a word? Cycle. Cycle. They can cycle, fam. Cycleable. I don't know. I'm too much of a redneck to know words. Robin Chase both lofts in the top 8. Eric's in the top 4. Eric's playing Affinity, and he's the number 1 seed, so that's a pretty good chance for him to get a RPTQ invite. The opponent has apparently a questionable draw here. We're going to hold both of the Sheltered Thickets because we don't have any double red spells in our deck. And quite frankly, I'm probably going to need to cycle them this game. It might be a little bit loose. It might have been safe to play one of the Thickets on turn 1. Kind of been wanting to test this card. It's kind of cool that we drew 2 of them. Tap for the O green, tap for the O red, play a little trample dample. A little tramply damply. A little get 'em and frill 'em. A little chicka bow wow. Rip. Okay. Well, at this point, I'm going to actually play the Sheltered Thicket. Thunder. He's not going to block. I don't think he's going to block. I don't think he's going to just like soak up and prevent 2 damage. That would seem loose. Gotta be honest, if he blocks, there's a very high chance that I just Manglehorn his clue. There is a really high chance that I just Manglehorn that clue if he blocks. Opponent's taking a while here. I'm just going to pretend like he's stream sniping me even though he may not be. So I'll cover my hand with my real life hand. Oh wait, that only stops me from seeing it. Alright. Well, I'll go play on my email then. Cool. He done. Alright, well, I'm gonna jam this Sheltered Veil. Wait, people followed me again? Thank you for following Xlantic Talks. We appreciate it, fam. And the reason that I played the Sheltered Thicket on the second draw, which is probably a reason I should have also played it on the first draw, is I have not drawn any more energy producers yet, and this guy's not going to be able to have trample for long. Would like him to tap all his mana because I really want to cycle this. Thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Oh, I didn't want you to play that. That card's good. But I can still cycle, so that's good. Will I be attacked? Ooh, I did get attacked. So I guess they have Metallic Rebuke. Man, it's not a bad deck. I actually want this card to resolve, like, a lot. So I could and should have probably played a land prior to playing this. It's probably a huge mistake for me not to play a land. What round was it? You know, in hindsight, I should have played a land. This was a massive mistake. The fact that I drew Invigorated Rampage makes it not bad, but like it was a pretty bad mistake. Anyway, so I'm giving him information by showing him another land, but that's fine. Yeah, I think it's pretty good because I think it's generally pretty good versus these white decks. We didn't have the best hand this game, and game 2 we mulliganed to 5 and had a completely unplayable 5, so it's fine. You're going to lose to it sometimes. And we've not even lost this game yet. Like, we still have some chance. Like, if he doesn't have a Dustodon, we have some chance. If he has a Dustodon, things get incredibly bad incredibly quick. Which is always fun. Obviously. Sure. Probably can't beat a Dustodon, though. Why you gotta be so mean? Well, we have some chance to beat a Dustodon now. So I'm gonna play a Desert. And I'm actually going to just go ahead and give this guy Trample. Give this guy the old Trample Dample. Tap you for colorless. You and you. Sacrifice one of you. Yes. Goodbye, Desert. I will miss you. So might try to bait a Stasis Snare out of him or something. But either way, it's a good chunk of his life. I'll be living in a big old city, and all you're ever gonna be is me. Someday I'll be living in a big city. Yeah, I don't know the words. You guys can't hear my music anyway, though, so I guess it's fine. Alright. Whatever. So we expected all of that. And now we still have a way to give it trample with the Invigorated Rampagerini. If he doesn't have the Dusk, it's pretty good for us here. Rip. Same old recipe. Anyway, I have a double Manglehorn here, so I'm just going to go ahead and slam the first Manglehorn and see if he'll target the clue. Because if he has Metallic Rebuke or Essence Scatter, it gives me a higher chance to resolve the Voltaic Brawler, and the Voltaic Brawler is the payoff card. But any creature at all that resolves is, you know, a potential winning game when we have an Invigorated Rampage in hand. Alright, so we got the Essence Scatter, which is fine. Because like I said, the prize card is wanting to resolve this guy. This guy was the prize here. Now he could have Angel of Sanctums, he could have an additional Stasis Snare, he could have Dusk. He could have a lot of things in this spot, but like the prize was Voltaic Brawler, and we have a backup Manglehorn regardless, so. The backup Manglehorn is really nice. Well, that's ridiculous. It's actually so ridiculous that I think it's just correct to attack and give myself trample. So he very unlikely can stop it all, and he's going to have to give up probably a lot of his team to stop it all if he does. He can still have Spell Snare here. He can still have Metallic Rebuke here. Or sorry, Spell Queller. If it's Metallic Rebuke, he's still going to die. If it's Spell Queller, he will still die with how he blocked. Well, okay, so another 4-1. That puts us up to 33 and 12 with the deck. Yeah, 33 and 12 since we switched to the deck. Which is pretty good stats. It's not great by any means, but some of those games I straight punted. Like one of the match losses yesterday, I cast Harness Lightning on my own servant when I was setting up a lethal for the following turn instead of killing his 5/6 Sylvan Advocate, which left me dead on board, which was kind of ridiculous. But it's still early. I actually have a few viewers, so I think I'm going to run it back tonight. I'm going to play a second league instead of just the one that I normally play. So we're going to sign back up with the old red-green Pummeler. Still no changes I want to make to the deck. I see a lot of people doing a few different things with the deck, but there's nothing that I really want to change. I really like the conversion board. And when you're willing to keep all of these slots in for a conversion board, it just doesn't give you very many options. Anyway, for those who care, down below there is a link to my Twitter. You can follow me, and anytime I go live, I post when I'm going live. I post what decks I play. Also do a lot of whining and crying on there, so at the worst case, there's probably some comedy in it for you. On top of that, on my Twitter, there's a link to my YouTube. And on my YouTube, I post all these videos. At some point, I'm going to post more content than just these videos. Ooh, he sideboarded in a braids. But yeah. So, if you feel like it, click on it and follow it. If you don't, I don't care. We're going to try. We don't 5-0 a lot because we have problems beating the mono red deck. And we have problems beating some of the Gearhulk decks. And we have actual problems beating some of the Teamer decks depending on whether they're the Magma Spray build or not. But anyway, it's kind of hard to 5-0. We played versus Felix yesterday, and I don't remember what they're on. But either way, I think this hand's a keep. This hand's reasonably strong, though not being great. And if they show us something like a basic mountain, the game's probably over. So this game's probably over before it started. So like I was saying, this is one of the decks we don't beat, and they have an above reasonable draw, so this is already just a really bad sign. I believe, even though somebody criticized me yesterday for playing a Harness Lightning in this particular spot, I still think it's better to play a Harness Lightning because A, it gives us a draw to try to find a blossoming defense, but B, it prevents damage, and preventing damage is the thing that I think's most relevant in this match. Even though I think preventing damage is the most relevant thing to do in this match, I think it's still safer to kill this card engine than anything. So I'm taking an additional 1 damage every turn because of how I use my spells, but if he got to draw like 3 cards off of that, I probably wasn't going to win no matter what. But this deck's what I would call our hardest match. This is what we had to play round 1 last event too, and it just absolutely wrecked us. Collective Defiance. You don't see a lot of those in the deck, but that just more shows that he did in fact have the removal spells. and having the removal spells crushes. So I'll play my one thing that can potentially block, but he probably will have a removal spell and I'll probably take X amount of damage. Or he could just have one of the 8 your dude can't block. Which, ooh, Hazaret. Dead, dead, dead. Have no outs. So yeah, just can't beat the deck that goes under us. It's very, very good. I actually think that deck is extremely good. I want to work on it more. I tried the version that Thundermo played, and it didn't impress me a whole lot, but I think these other builds are just a little bit different and a little bit better. I think the big reason that Thundermo's didn't impress me was because I thought it was just a tad light on removal, and I thought it not having those removal hurt me a lot, but these other builds have a little bit more removal. Anyway, so like all of these cards aren't particularly good versus them, but like they just have so much removal that I rarely get to get through with the electrostatic pummelers anyway. So I just want as many things that are potentially able to block as humanly possible. Anyway, I will play first. I will look at this hand and see that it's exceptionally slow. But I have a removal spell on 2 and I have this, so I think it's good enough. It's probably not good enough, actually. This hand's obviously worse. Anyway, so we have to mulligan again. It's kind of good to get our mulligans in this match. Have to keep. Hand's not good. Certainly don't want that. Unfortunately, we have to play the Ficodon one. But yeah, this mono red deck is just going to brown us at almost every step of the way. I don't mind to lose to it, and I don't mind that I had to mulligan because I would rather have to mulligan 2 or 3 times versus bad matchups than mulligan versus 2 or 3 times versus good matchups, because mulliganing versus a bad matchup gives me less of an equity drop than mulliganing versus a good matchup. Sure, I'll show you my forest, I don't care. But they have a lot of ways to deal 3 damage to my dome, which means there's a good chance that the prowling kitty cat over here is not going to matter, and since I'm getting smashed, I'm going to go ahead and eat me a few more graham crackers. Harsh Mentor. Well, I'm not casting my dude because I have a blossoming defense. And if my dude just dies, I'm just dead, so. Probably just dead anyway because their draw was insane. Yeah, I have no sweepers, so I don't actually think that I can beat their draw. Maybe if every card in their hand's bad and every card this Bomat Carrier picks up the rest of the game is bad that we can get there? I don't know. I think this card's criminally underplayed, the red expertise. I just think it is criminally underplayed. Well, I'm not going to do that any of this game, so. This is still better to prevent the damage. My mouse doesn't want to work. It's probably because I ate too many graham crackers on my computer. Come on, mouse. Don't be like that, fam. And we did. GG. And on to the next round. As we got fervently smashed by Mono Red again. Oh, I always forget to throw up the deck list afterwards. For those who care, there's a link to the Twitter down below. On the Twitter, I post every time I go live and all my deck lists. Yeah, okay, that's what I'm going to say. Oh, and on the Twitter, there's a link to my YouTube. The YouTube has all of the Twitch streams on it. Unfortunately, they're all 24-hour delayed because of this sub button thing up here, unfortunately. So like yesterday's video will come out about 6 a.m. today and so on. This hand's interesting. Well, I'm going to go ahead and play the Servant first because it's the one that I care about dying or getting censored the least. I will not play the one. I will play the Voltaic Brawler second because it's the one that I care about dying. Or getting counterspelled, the second least. I will try to protect the Blossoming defense just to try to tie his mana up. This is only bad if he still has Magma Spray and or like a shock effect. If he untaps and uses another 2 mana removal spell on it, we don't care. No reason to pay the energy in this. There's too high of a chance that he has some kind of removal spell. And this way we can play around Swelter the Sun with the Long Tusko. Obviously, Terror will be as Hours of Devastation. A lot of these decks are only playing 1 hours though, so I think we can't play around it. And even if he does happen to have Devours, we can still top deck our Bristling Hydra, which is far more likely for us to have had than him to have had that. But we didn't get there, so rip. And this game's over at this point. It's pretty safe to concede here, but you know, other things have happened, so no reason to. Bottom. Bottom. Well, 8 lands and 15 cards so far, not working out very well for me. Don't really have anything I can do here. If he shows me a Gear Hulk, I'll scoop. Just want to see a Gear Hulk. It happens. Not that big of a deal. We did finally draw our 3rd creature of the game on turn, 8 though. It's the Ninth land and 17 cards. Rip. When he's confident to start attacking with these, that means bad signs for me. Could draw like Blossoming Defense Pummeler or something, and I don't know. Maybe he only has 1 counterspell and a bunch of removal and doesn't counterspell the Pummeler. I'm just trying to think of some hypothetical insane situations that let me win the game, and I can't even really think of them. Alright, well, I'll play this guy and wait upon a counterspell. Got me. I did not put up much of a fight this game. I think it's because I showed him all those lands. So League 2 not going nearly as well as League 1. Okay. I'll show you a land and I'll attempt to bring some glory. He didn't tap the Wandering Fumarole this time, by the way, and he had tapped the Wandering Fumarole the last several turns in a row, which makes me think he drew a Gear Hulk, but, like, he still just didn't use the Gear Hulk, so now I'm confused. Do I finally get to concede? Yes, we get to concede. There's a Gear Hulk. Alright, anyway. We try to play a conversion plan post-board versus these guys. I bring in the extra 2 Harness Lightnings because it's fine versus the lands, fine versus the Gear Hulks, and actually fine versus Finganice if he happens to have it. I sideboard out all of our 12 combo-ish spells, even though I've toyed with leaving Fling in the deck. But this is the sideboard plan that I've had the most success with versus this deck. If they showed me Dynavolt Tower, obviously I'd have to bring these in too. If they showed me Dynavolt Tower, like, I'd probably bring in these 3 while cutting like 1 Harness Lightning and probably a Servant as well, but I'm not sure. Anyway, so yeah. I cannot pronounce your name, K-I-I-M-U-R-I-E-L. Chimural? I'll say Chimural. Your name is Chimural now. Anyway, thank you for following Chimural. Chimural? Chimural. Yeah. If that's not how you pronounce that name, I'm sorry. I'm a dumb redneck. But I have a nice smile and a glorious neck beard. Those are the only things that really matter, right? I hate Dave C. Dave C's streaming. You guys should go watch Dave C and tell him that I sent you. Anyway, we'll play first. This hand's what the boys in the funny papers calls lit, fam. Hand's basically got everything we want. It's a little early in the game to want to have drawn this lightning harness, but when you put all 4 of them in your deck, you're often going to draw this. I would only want 3 in the deck if I knew for a fact that they didn't have Thing in the Ice, but since you never know whether they have the Thing in the Ice, I'd rather just have the opportunity of having a dead card some percentage of the games to being just completely dead a large percentage of the games. Haven't showed him a land yet, so I'll go ahead and show him a forest. And then he may use a removal spell on this now, which would be probably correct and make me kind of happy all at the same time. So there's the Thing in Ice. So definitely glad that we left our thing in. Go ahead and close that. Go ahead and kill that. So that's the main reason that you bring the Harness Lightnings in. Go ahead and trample Dample Helm. She could have been... Don't really need the energy for anything else, but could have kept it just in case that he had a second Thing in Ice so we could attack on a following turn. Where he has a second Thing in Ice, we're going to get to play our Tireless Tracker and it not be counterspelled, which is pretty hot, friends. So I really just don't want to get censored this game. Because then I'm getting extra value out of censors. I want to choke myself every time. But like, I also just don't want to pass while I have done nothing. So that makes this turn particularly awkward. In general, they also have Essence Scatters, so I think it's fine just to go ahead and play this. If they don't have a Censor or an Essence Scatter, we'll at least get 1 clue, which is better than no clues. Sure. Better than no clues. I do like that deck. Oh wait, no, the 4-color merge? I liked the Sultai merge. Did it have Cosmix returns in it? I didn't pay enough attention to the deck list. Well, buddy, this is everything I've ever wanted in a draw step. Okay, well, things are going real bad real quick. Blossoming Defense would have been a pretty good draw on that turn because I could have used the Oasis while having a Blossoming Defense up to save my dude. I have literally just drawn a million lands these 2 games. I've drawn 8 out of 13 again. This... I'm going to go ahead and downvote that song because God willing we'll never hear it again. So I really want to draw a Blossoming Defense this turn. That's not a Blossoming Defense. Alright, well, we'll just bash again for a measly little 4. I'm coming to get you, buddy. Let me get this 4 damage in. Alright, well, he took it. I think it's fine to wait on the servant, because the servant represents a lethal threat with just oases. There's still a chance that we draw a blossoming defense on the following turn. But he's going into the Gearhulk turns. So we really want to draw a blossoming defense if possible on this turn. Well, not super happy about that draw, but I would say untuned. I wouldn't say janky. I would say some deck in that manner is going to dominate this format. So we played into Harness Lightning and stuff this turn, but after the second Glimmer, I think it requires me to get more lucky than anything and win this turn, so excuse me. So I'm basically just trying to get lucky, and if he taps out for Hour, there's a good chance I can resolve my next important threat, like a Chandra would be right now. Well, there's Hour, so hopefully we draw something. Rip. Alright, well, there's some chance that this resolves. It resolves through a Supreme Will. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. If this resolves, I'm going to go for it with the Oasis because probably won't get very many more turns. And I don't think that would resolve anyway. I think there's a good chance he has a Harness Lightning or something of that nature, but oh no, we've been plenty lucky with this deck. Just because we flooded these two games is irrelevant. I'm not upset that I flooded. Wow, the third Glimmer Genius. Our opponents have drawn as many Glimmer Geniuses as I have creatures. That's not necessarily true. I've drawn 4 creatures, but I wanted to whine, because whining's fun. Could have held the Mountain for a second Tireless Tracker, but and he put on top, so it's probably actually safe to go ahead and concede this game, but I'll just keep going. I don't know, for the sake of the stream, because if I lose, because the next match I lose, I get to log out on, so. Oh god, no! We just used our Lightning Harness. What will we ever do? Maybe our opponent has Stone Nothing, even though he put on top. We drew no Bristling Hydras this game as well, which would have probably been enough. The opponent not kill my Voltaic Brawler? That'd be sweet. Alright, well, I guess we'll wait till our next untap step before we concede. We have these 2 Oases, who knows? Maybe opponents did weird math somewhere. Okay, that's a removal spell, and that's enough. 10 lands and 20 cards. And onward! So we're getting smashed. So that puts us down to 4-3 on the day. But it's fine. Not upset. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. I don't think either of those games were indicative of how that match plays, but the one I won earlier tonight versus the same deck I also don't think is indicative of how the match plays. So we got a rally here. We got to try to win the next 3 matches to salvage a pity chest. If we salvage the next 3 matches, I'll probably open all 9 chests on stream. If not, I'll probably be a tightwad and just sell the 8 chests we already made. Next to you. I guess I should throw up the deck list. For those who care, down below there's a link to my Twitter. You should go follow it so you can hear me cry a lot and see when I go live and see this same deck list that I'm going to play until people stop me from playing it. Might play this sometime, but friendly leagues suck and I don't know what a lot of these cards even do. I don't know what this card does. I don't know everything this card does. I have no idea what anything on that card does. I'm not 100% sure what that card does. I have no idea what that card is. I have a vague idea of what that card does. I think I remember what this card does, but I'm not 100% sure. Oh god. And then there's some lands. I have no idea what this card is. I have no idea what that card does. But anyway, nobody wants to watch Commander because that's Commander. So go back and we'll play this deck until the end of time. Until Jesus comes back to take his kids away. Let's get pummeling. These Oases have been very good. MTGO has a weird shuffler, and it's not a complete randomization, which is weird. So, having these extra non-basic lands have definitely made my draws considerably more clunky. We're playing versus an opponent who cannot win a prize. That means if I lose, I'm going to beg him to give me a win because, again, I'm a tightwad. So, I'm going to go ahead and keep this hand. Jay Coward at it again. Oh, yeah. So slamming this forest here. I don't know if you got smoked by me. I played pretty badly yesterday, but I got real lucky in a few spots. What deck were you playing? I probably will not remember because I'm way too sleepy. Is this how I give people a sword? I don't know. That might be a sword, I'm not sure. That is in fact a sword. Keeping it lit, fam. Hey, we drew a fling. We like flings. What deck were you playing there? Forgive Hexar? Oh, yeah. And I got some pretty lucky top decks in that draw. The Scarab God come out and I was like, no! And then I drew the perfect card. I don't remember what it was. I'd have to go back and look at the replay. Oh gosh. So if he has a Fatal Push, he definitely should have Fatal Pushed before I got Froggy. But anyway, we getting Froggy now. It's too late to Fatal Push, son. Don't do it now. I could have a Blossoming Defense. You don't know. I don't have a Blossoming Defense, but don't tell him. I'm just going to slam the Pummeler because there's a good chance that is a mistake. Yeah, Scarab God. Scarab God is thumbs up, fun times, very cool card. Yeah, that was the game that I got the Sweet Top deck. Fling is the chat's favorite card in the deck. Speaking of Fling, was that a good draw? I don't know. Anyway, opponent, I attack you. I will not make my guy bigger. Why would I want to make my guy bigger? I got fingered for lethal. Oh, man. The things I saw in the movie pictures. I don't even want to talk about it. So I'm pretty sure opponent just can't beat the Pummeler in this spot ever. But we'll find out. I'm not just going for the kill now because there's no reason to. If he taps his swamp for any reason whatsoever, this guy can be turned into a 3/6/12, which is lethal. So I don't think there's any reason to even play the Servant. But we'll see. We'll see how he taps and what he does. We have an instant speed kill though, so. And Fling is the fun and fair magic card. So that played around any removal spell doing it in that manner. Because he had the Vassal Nathancy in play, he could have used these 2 mana and sacked it and still have Fatal Push. Come on, man, it ain't that bad. Anyway, versus decks like his, I don't feel like I even need the sideboard very much. This card is very, very bad versus Ishkana. So, we definitely don't want that card. And Harness Lightning is pretty good versus Kalidas if they're playing it. And pretty good to try to stop them off Emerge if they're playing the Emerge list. And we don't know if they're playing Emerge yet or not, because we didn't give them enough time to see. But anyway, since I sideboarded out a double red spell and we're on the draw, I'm also going to sideboard out a Mountain. When we figure out whether they're just like a value Delirium deck with Scarab God, or whether they're a Sultai Emerge deck like from Star City today, that'll change how we sideboard and approach game 3. But for now, we're just going to assume that they're roughly just a Delirium list, and we're going to hedge a little for some Emerge cards. And we'll see what happens. But yeah, that was a pretty fun win. My friend, my friend just told me that I shouldn't be sacrilegious, and he is 100% correct. I don't know why I say things like that. It's because I'm crazy. I'm a wild and crazy kid. I need more graham crackers. Now that I'm out of graham crackers, I've won another game. Hopefully we can convert the match. Of course, if we lose, I get to log out. Logging out's definitely positive EV right now. Because who doesn't want to log out? Always want to log out. Black-green Pummeler interests me. I like the fact that you can play like Dream Stealer, and like even if you can't combo them, you can just like throw a larger than life on it and wreck their hand, and then they probably can't win. I kind of want to play with that deck some. So this hand is land very light. It's actually got a lot of reasonable cards in it for the opponent, but I think it's still just better to mulligan. I don't really want to keep a one-lander. This is another one-lander, and now we only have the one threat, and the one threat can be Fatal Pushed or Grasp of Darkness, so I think I have to go ahead and go to 5. If we had 2 different 2-drops, I would keep this hand because of the Scry. But since we don't have the 2-drops, I'm going to go ahead and mulligan again. And this hand isn't particularly good either. The Harness Lightning could be a complete brick versus them, but I do believe it's better than a mulligan versus an average hand. And we don't have a whole lot of energy or a whole lot of pump for the Electrostatic Pummeler, so I don't think there's any reason to save the Blossomy defense for it. He's got a star because he is a subscriber, Sir Ricky. This man gave me money. This man deserves a hug in real life because he is an idiot. No one should ever give me money. There is many people that deserve your sub more than O'Ray. I'm O'Ray, by the way, for those who don't know. I do appreciate it, though. He is one of 3 subs, because he's crazy. Does deserve a hug, though. I may hug him this week if I ever see him. Anyway, back to the game. Let's talk less about hugging Gunner because that's sexual harassment, and more about just slamming the servant and waiting to die. I'm really sad you guys can't hear my music, because my music has been on point this evening. It's just been totally on point. You guys could be listening to Taylor Swift right now. You're not the only one that's giving me actual money. This guy up here donated $5. That was real money. Goodbye, my friend. I will miss you. Doomfall is such a good card. Don't have any way to pump it. Don't have any way to protect it, so just going to slam it. Really just want to draw an untapped land and start getting these abysses in play. But mulligan to 5, so we're pretty close out of resources already. Hello, Mr. Tireless Tracker. How are you today? Man. Ooh, he showed us a land. It's kind of interesting. Alright, well, you got me. Nothing I can do. Let's play right into Fatal Pusherini. Still have to kill this thing. A Blossomy defense would be hot right now. But we don't have it, so let's just go ahead and go over there and get him for 1. Opened a Showdown pack and got an Ulamog and a Foil Tracker. That's pretty good. Foil Tracker is a long-term hold too because it's got Modern and Legacy playable. And the Ulamog's pretty sweet. What's his name? Mark still wants Ulamogs, I think. Might be worth seeing if he still needs it. So this is just getting him a land. He already has a land in hand that he showed us. So he's got 2 lands in hand and he doesn't have Delirium. I find that awkward. Kind of jealous of the Foil Tracker. Oh man, don't shuffle it. It's not a long-term hold if you're going to shuffle it. People don't want your shuffled foils. Alright, cycle, cycle, cycle. Well, at least it's not Ishkana. So now we know none of the cards in his hand. Is it the only foil in your deck? So he gets the tracker back. Rip, 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 rip. Everything's a rip. Anyway. So we're going to battle the Liliana, which would not give him Delirium anymore because he brought this back. Ah, cool. I was just asking. Values the Liliana more than the tracker. I don't know which I would value more in a similar position. The two little bristling hydras are Bash Brothers. Alright, so... Ooh, they hit a Champion of Wits. That Champion of Wits is so good here. They have 7 mana. But they don't have 7 mana yet, but they very likely have 7 mana. They took the Tireless Tracker again. Interesting. Traverse into Ishka? Yeah. Alright, well, things are getting harder and harder, but... He's not a Death Shadow deck. I do, however, think not having 4 Grim players seems peculiar to me. I won't say wrong because I've not played the deck, but I can't imagine not wanting 4 Grim players in the deck. I think Grim Flayer's better than Tarmogoyf in that deck. Like, I would rather have 4 Grim Flayers than 4 Tarmogoyfs. But, again, I don't know a whole lot about the deck. Not tested it a lot, so I don't know. And by tested it a whole lot, I mean I've tested it literal 0 games, and Ricky's done some work on the deck, so I will trust his opinion over my random speculation. Ugh. Strategic Planning, that's a good card. Pretty, pretty please, oh, la 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 la. I think the Flayer's good. Has Eric won and or lost that tournament yet? So he's going to traverse for something else. This is going to give us a little insight on which one he is. Be interesting to see what he gets here. Oh, Noxious Gearhulk. Hello, Bay. Hey, Bay. Alright, well, that's a decent draw. So opponent doesn't have any reasonable attacks, and we're just going to bash with like a million things again. I think the Harness Lightning is reasonable here as well. It might get our opponent blown out with some kind of very poor block. What do I do about this? Just put like a dice on top of your deck. Every time you activate a bauble, set it on top of your opponent's library. Alright, so I don't really think I need my energy, so I'm just going to make my guys fattish here. Still lets me bank 1, and it lets me clear the board for free. Man, not playing Traverse seems... Whew. You just set the bauble right on top of their library. You'd be like, hey pal, get wrecked. But you know, even when I lose, I'm winning. Give me all of you. Woohoo. I have 15 damage in play. I can make it 18, 19, 20. Ship list to daddy, please. Even if it's shit. Well, shit's our favorite thing. Can you hear the music today? Because I literally changed nothing. Alright, well, opponent's got a lot of cards in hand. The opponent even has this Champion of Wits. The opponent has these clues. The opponent's just like really far behind on the table. Give me all of me. Give it all to you. I used all my spells. Nom 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 nom. Okay, so I've won the match. Well, that's unfortunate. Now we have to play more, friends. Glory! I'm offended. Why not BOF? What in the world is BOF? I have no idea what BOF is. Oh, slang for both. Gotcha. Which translates poorly into Twitch chat. Okay. Why wouldn't that work, Silent? What'd Silent say? Multi-5 easy. Yeah, we did multi-5 that game. I don't think our opponent played optimally. He had like tons of options, and like he just seemed to use the least mana efficient option every turn of the game while we had two abysses in play. So this hand's a mulligan. If we had one green source, it's a keep, obviously. This hand's a keep, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't even want this hand. I shouldn't have played the mountain. That was a mistake. I should have played the Everhub in case I drew Game Trail. Oh, well, this is a pretty hard match. And our hand's obviously wonderful, so we got this. He's more likely to not play a Winding Constrictor if I play the Lone Tusk Cub. So just go ahead and jam the Lone Tusk Cub and see what happens. No Winding Constrictor, please. Well, that's not a Winding Constrictor. We don't know what I feel. You don't know how it feels. You don't know. You don't know. I know, but you don't know. If he blocks, my energy is gone, fam. I will make my guy 3/3 if he blocks, because we cray. So now, even if he has a removal spell for the Lone Tusk Cub, we can slap him down for 2 of this Servant, friends. We can get him. We can get him where it hurts. Yo. Yo, what's the dealio? Rip. We tried. Untapped green source? That's not an untapped green source at all. Anyway, so we'll play that thing. And we'll attack with that thing, and we are way behind. This hand, I mulliganed. It's not like I wanted to keep it. I didn't keep a 7. I just couldn't really go to a 5. Rip. Well. So the second servant is clearly not what I want this game. He already has Delirium. So he just untaps and plays a Rishkar. I'm gonna go, yeah, but why'd you play Rishkar? And I whine. On a positive note is, in this board state, even though I'm literally a year and a half behind, I could potentially just draw Electrostatic Pummeler and win the game. So I can't concede, which is unfortunate because I really want to concede. Really, well that makes drawing Electrostatic Pummeler and winning a lot harder. that makes things harder. Well, drat. Yeah, that makes things a lot harder. Doesn't make things impossible, but it definitely makes things a lot harder. Like, we have a blossoming defense, so he could not have a second removal spell after the Liliana tick up, and we could still get there if we drew a Pummeler into something. I don't know. That's a Scarab God, though, so that's not good for me. Alright, we done here, fam. Rip the band-aid off. Next game. Alright, so he just seems to be like a black-green Delirium deck with a very, very minor splash. which means we're going to halfway convert. We don't need the shepherds. We don't need the mangles. We definitely don't want the electrostatic pummelers. We don't want the larger than lifes, and we don't want like 3 of the rampagers. We'll leave the 1 rampager in because gotcha, and then we'll leave the 2 flings in because there's a good chance that we can get him to a low life total, but probably not finish the game. But he showed me Liliana. If they show me Liliana, I'm not likely to leave the pummeler in. Still waiting to see if Eric won, but nobody has any. I will play first. This hand is not remotely good. Still think it's a keep. It's not remotely good, but I still think it's a keep. Get a random, I guess we'll get a mountain. This fleeing is just awkward AF right now. I would much rather it been a shepherd or anything, but I'm not willing to play the tracker just enter a removal spell and get literal 0 value, so I would rather wait to the following turn, play the tracker, and get a minimum of 1 clue. Doing such also means he would be using a removal spell on the following turn if he casts anything on this turn, that is, which would give the Glorybringer a chance to do what Glorybringers do and bring glory. So, like, this could bring glory right all over a Liliana. If he's got a Mindbreak Demon, that's obviously bad, but alright, well, at least I can press F6 here. Pressing F6 is approximately my fave. Wasn't any reason to hold up Blossoming Defense because he was just going to use this thing no matter what. So, no Mindbreak Demon, please. If you have a demon, we ain't gonna win. Rip! That's a demon. Well, that was a good draw. That was a bad draw. See how these things work? Several times. So he took 4 damage from the first Mindbreak. I'm willing to also take 4 damage here. Actually, I guess I'm not willing to take the damage. On hindsight. Hey, the flings aren't completely bad yet. Don't get me wrong, they're not looking great, but they're not completely bad yet. We might be able to get some chip damage in with these guys. I thought about just taking the damage there because I didn't want to give him Delirium into Nishkana, but I don't think I was beating the Ishkana either way. It is something I thought about, though. I feel pretty favored in this match, but we're certainly probably not winning right now. So now we just have a big dirtly dragon that's not really doing anything. If he has a removal spell here, I don't know how I'm supposed to win. Oh, well. Goodbye, Glorybringer. I'll miss you. I guess I could draw another? Victor brings an interesting cyborg card to bring in versus me, I think. He had Delirium and he didn't get the... Wait, did he have Delirium? He had Delirium and he didn't get the other Mindbreak Demon, or the other Glorybringer. He just... No, it's not good enough, don't care. Alright, well, we lose. Oh, never mind, he said it was a misclick. So that's a 4-1 and a 1-3 on the night. So that puts us at approximately 5-4. Well, that league went miserably. Eric was on the play, and he's playing a reasonable deck. Anyway, so that's probably going to be it for me. I'm going to go ahead and open these treasure chests because I like to open treasure chests. I'm going to open them one at a Mardu Planeswalkers. Jesus Christ. Was that tournament that week? Anyway, so open a treasure chest. We got 120 play points. So that's roughly $12 worth of equity. Number 2. We got this thing that can't be worth anything. Number 3. Got another 15, so we're at 135 play points. 135 play points. All these things are junk. And now we're up to, a cranial extraction, but I'm sure it's not worth anything. 145 play points. The Cinco might be worth $1 or something. I don't know. I'm assuming it's literal worth pennies, though. Well, that didn't help at all. How the hell do I get online prices? Whatever, who cares? Oh no, that did work. And it was worth $1. I'm surprised. So it's 135 play points and $1. Didn't even get a rare out of that pack. Alright, so last treasure chest to be useful. And 15 more play points. So we got 150 play points and $1, so about $16 worth of equity. Which means we lost roughly $2.50, somewhere in that general ballpark. Anyway, thanks for streaming. I'm definitely done for the evening. Look down below. Click the Twitter thing. It's a, you know, you follow my Twitter or whatever, and it gives you notifications of when I go live, all the deck lists I play, and you'll get to see me argue and complain with a lot of people, which is just entertaining. On my Twitter, there's a link to my YouTube. My YouTube's got all of the streams on it, unedited, so you can see how much of a moron I am. And on top of that, there'll be at some point content on the YouTube that is not on the other thingy. On top of that, I want to thank the 3 people who donated and all the the 3 people who subscribed and all the donators or whatever. And I'm going to host one of my decent friends. I think he's playing limited right now, but there's a good chance he'll play standard later. He's testing for the Pro Tour coming up. He's qualified, so and yeah, Ricky, I'm down to Skype. But anyway, go check out Dave C. He's good people. Give him a follow too, and all of that stuff. Anyway, thanks for showing up.